Hello, my fabulous family. I hope you all are doing well. It's a rainy day here in Florida, but at least it's a little bit cooler than what we've been having weather-wise. But let's just jump right into it. So we're getting to the arrest. Well, he already got arrested in the last video, but now Rebecca Carpenter, Officer Rebecca Carpenter, who is a witness for the state, is now getting ready to give her testimony. And of course, Darrell will have his opportunity to cross-examine her. And I don't know if you remember, but he complained all about his shoulder being injured because they allegedly slammed him to the ground, which, let's face it, everything he says is a lie. So, and I haven't seen this one in a while, but I remember that I really liked Rebecca Carpenter. She was just straight to the point, very chill, calm, matter of fact. So let's go on and get with it. I'm just sitting here looking at this where I pause. They're getting ready to call her in, to swear her in. And he already, you can tell, he wants to ask Judge Darrell a question. Here we go.
All right.
Subject matter jurisdiction has yet to be proven for the record.
Says you. I like it because a lot of times she just gets to where she doesn't answer him. By now she's just fed up with him and his ridiculous antics.
Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. State have the next witness, please.
Thank you. The state calls Officer Rebecca Carpenter.
Good afternoon, officer. If you would please make your way to the witness stand on my right, up one riser. When you get there, please remain standing. Raise your right hand. My clerk, Teresa, will swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Thank you. Please be seated. The first thing I will ask you to do is to state your first and last names for the record and spell each.
Rebecca, Rebecca, Carpenter, Carpenter.
Thank you. Go ahead, your witness.
Thank you. Officer, how are you employed?
On the day of the parade, I was working a shift for the Village of Big Bend Police Department, sir.
Is that who still employs you?
Yes.
Anybody else?
Yes. I'm also a patrol officer for the town of East Troy, and I'm the assistant chief for the Village of Eagle.
Wow.
How many years have you spent in law enforcement?
I was appointed to the Milwaukee Police Department in March of 1991.
And when did you come out here to the Waukesha County jurisdictions that you mentioned?
I retired from the Milwaukee Police Department as a sergeant in November of 2017, and the first department I got into policing again with was the town of East Troy in May of 2018.
You already made reference to the parade. Were you working on duty as a law enforcement officer on November 21st of 2021?
Yes, sir, I was.
Overruled,
Not leading.
and you may answer.
Yes, I was.
Were you aware
has
that
quite the
day
credentials.
the Waukesha Christmas parade was taking place?
Actually, I was not.
Did you at some point become aware that there was a parade in downtown Waukesha?
Objection leading.
Overruled. You may
Yes.
answer.
Gonna use the leading objection today,
Yes, I
I
did.
guess.
How did you go about learning that information?
I heard over the radio channel that Big Bend monitors, which is not the same radio channel that the parade was on. I heard a broadcast that there had been shots fired.
What did you do in response to hearing that broadcast?
In response to that particular broadcast, I started paying closer attention.
And then what happened?
Squads on my channel, which is a Waukesha County channel, started to say that they were placing injured people in the backs of their squads and driving them to the hospital, which is a highly unusual circumstance.
What did you do when you learned that information?
I started driving toward downtown Waukesha.
Did you get there?
I did.
What happened then?
Initially, I went to the parade route, and I talked to a few people around injured people and determined that I wasn't really able to be of help there because they were all back injuries, and I can't, in a squad, I can't help with that.
So what did you do next?
That house is famous for its witches. You don't know what I'm capable of.
I answered a call on the radio that said there was a man going door to door on Elizabeth Street asking to use people's phones to call an Uber.
Did you go to look for that man?
I did.
Where did you go?
I responded to Elizabeth Street and I parked my squad on Elizabeth and West.
Where did you go from there?
I got out and partnered up with two other officers, and we decided that we would walk the street and look for this person.
Were you wearing a body-worn camera at the time?
Yes, sir, I was.
Where was that device affixed to your person?
The control box was on my chest, and the particular model of body-worn camera that I was wearing had a lens that I was wearing affixed to my collar.
Your Honor, let the record reflect that the witness has held up her right hand in a circle and pointed it towards about her collarbone, her right collarbone.
The record will still reflect.
Was that device also equipped with a microphone?
Objection
Yes.
leading.
Overruled.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
And that
boy.
microphone was synced up with the video?
Yes, sir.
Do you know whether your device was activated as you were walking down Elizabeth Street that afternoon?
It was.
Overruled, and her answer may stand.
May we please display for the witness only exhibit number 80?
Go ahead. It will come on the monitor in front of you.
Do you see a video on the screen in front of you?
Yes, I do.
We're going to play the first 5 or 10 seconds of that just to see if you recognize it, okay? All right, we played 6 seconds. Do you recognize that video?
I do.
What is it?
It is my body camera video of walking down Elizabeth Street.
From November 21st?
Yes, sir.
Objection leading.
I will overrule it, and the answer may stand.
Does this video and the associated audio accurately reflect what happened that night as you saw it?
Objection leading.
Overruled.
Yes, sir.
And move exhibit 80 into evidence and ask to publish.
Objection. Let me see.
Overruled. Exhibit 80 is received. Permission to publish is granted. For the record, please tell me the total length.
It is a 5-minute video.
Thank you. Go ahead.
We will start at the beginning. We're going to play it with audio, and we will pause at certain points, and I'll point out the timestamps when we pause. So we'll start from the beginning, please.
Big Ben. Robert 277.
what I do, please.
We've paused at 53 seconds. A few moments earlier in the video, we saw what appeared to be a handgun. Does that sound right to you?
Yes, sir.
Who was the person holding that handgun?
That was me.
And who were, well, excuse me, let me strike that. I want to direct your attention to the top right corner of the screen here. There appears to be some type of timestamp. Do you see that?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
I do, yes.
Do you know if that is an accurate military timestamp?
Objection, leading.
Overruled. You may answer.
That does not accurately reflect the time it occurred, no.
So it was not 11:11 p.m. at the time this video was recording.
Objection, leading.
Oh, sustained is to the form of the question.
Do you know approximately what time it was that this video was recorded?
I know that I initially began to respond to the scene at about 20 minutes to 5. And I would be guessing about how much time elapsed, but I would say it wasn't more than a half hour or 40 minutes to this point.
The person who is depicted in the video at this point, at 53 seconds, that's what, describe where in the video you first saw that person.
Objection, leading.
Overruled. You may answer.
I first saw him standing on the porch.
And what, if anything, did you see that person doing when you first saw him?
Objection, leading.
Overruled. You may answer.
He appeared to be rather agitated.
Why do you say that?
Objection, leading.
Overruled. It's not leading. You may answer.
He was moving back and forth on the porch and gesturing.
Do you recall what you were wearing that evening?
I do.
What?
The exact same set of clothing that I'm wearing today.
Including long sleeves?
Yes.
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
Did this person, depicted at 53 seconds, draw your attention in any way based on what he was wearing?
Yes.
Why?
It was chilly out, lower 40s, upper 30s, and he was in a t-shirt, jogging pants, and no shoes.
We can resume playing here at 53 seconds, please.
You got something with your name on it now?
No, okay, lads, cooperate with us. Okay.
Paused at 1 minute and 4 seconds. What did we see in that portion of the video?
That was a sandwich.
The
Where'd that
sandwich.
come from?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
His right pants pocket.
The subject on the ground is.
Yes, sir.
Please resume at 1:04.
Robert 277. What's it?
Paused at 1 minute and 14 seconds. Did you at some point ask the subject depicted in the video at 1:14 to identify himself by name?
Go ahead.
I did.
What was that person's response?
He identified himself as Darrell Brooks.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see Mr. Brooks in the
Gotcha
courtroom today?
again.
I do.
Can you point him out for us by telling us where he's sitting and what he's wearing?
He is seated at the defense table, wearing a dark-colored suit and striped tie, and a mask over his face.
Just to be thorough, Your Honor, could we please have Mr. Brooks remove his mask momentarily?
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. Go ahead.
Now that Mr. Brooks has removed his mask, does that change anything about your testimony today?
Objection. I don't consent to being called that name. Leading.
You may go ahead and answer.
That's Darrell Brooks.
Could we please play from 1:14?
There's multiple units. David 216 out this. What is your name? Brooks. We have one deal. Darrell Brooks and John Elizabeth Street. I'm waiting for him.
Paused at 1 minute and 23 seconds. Sitting on the witness stand today, do you acknowledge that Mr. Brooks has a short haircut?
Objection. I don't consent to being called that name. It's leading.
Sustain this to the form of the question, please.
How would you describe Mr. Brooks' haircut today?
Objection. I don't consent to being called that name.
Sir, I understand your objection. Please do not interrupt with that further so that the questioning of the witnesses may continue. You may answer.
If you say that name, I'm objecting.
You shouldn't be talking.
And the jury will disregard the objection if it's solely for legal
God, he's
purposes.
such a pain.
Go ahead.
Mr. Brooks has his hair cut close today.
What about when he took his face mask down? Did you notice his facial hair?
Objection. Leading.
Overruled.
He does have facial hair.
Did you notice anything different about his facial hair today versus in the video?
Objection. Leading.
Overruled. The witness may answer.
That is also trimmed closer.
Does the hairstyle and the facial hairstyle here in court today give you any pause or concern over whether or not it's Mr. Brooks in the video?
Objection.
Go ahead and answer, please.
No, not at all.
Let's resume playing at 1:23.
Objection noted for the record.
I just use the microphone to call for a minute, that's all.
Oh, okay.
That's what I need, yeah. We'll mail 1026, the blackmail is ready shortly.
I shot Darrell.
I'll tell you what, if everything turns out to be on the up and up, life will be good and you'll be on your way, all right?
Suspect, I presume?
Oh, no. Ask him. Ask him if he knows. He was on the porch here.
Yeah, I was using his phone. What's your location? I was using his phone. You're pulling the WMH room, loading her down. I called my any funds available for a transport? Give me a lift. That's all. I was just using his phone.
Darrell, this is Schwartz. I'm leaving WSC. Where do you need me?
Can I just sit up? I was really doing the phone. Can I please just sit up?
He laid down on the ground his own self.
What's your name, guy?
So he never got slammed.
What did you tell Park?
Darrell Brooks? Yes, sir.
He identifies by that name now, or during that
This
time.
description of the guy that got called on who was going door to door over here.
Yeah, I was trying.
Where are your shoes, man?
I was trying to use somebody's phone.
Where are your shoes?
My flip flops is in his house.
Yep.
Paused at 2 minutes and 49 seconds. Did you hear the last thing said by the suspect on the ground at this point?
Objection.
Yes.
Leading.
Overruled.
What did he say?
Objection. Leading.
Overruled. You may answer.
He said, my flip-flops is in his house.
Do you know if any flip-flops or any other shoes of any kind were ever retrieved from the residence that this was taking place in front of?
Objection. Speculative.
Overruled. You may
Yeah.
answer.
I did go in the house and speak to the resident there and asked if he had left shoes or outer garments or anything like that, and he said that he had not.
Another lie.
Resume at the 2:49 mark.
He was saying he just gave me a jacket. Please identifying false lighter skin, black male, dreadlocks, red shirt, blue jeans, no shoes. Yeah, I did go to the house. I went to that house right there, right down the street, right here.
Where you coming from, man?
I was coming from that parade down here.
Okay.
I know a friend down here.
I think that's a fabulous idea.
I can't, Mr. Brooks.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Roll over on your butt.
Okay, not you.
Roll over on your butt. Roll up on your knees.
Now he's going that like his shoulder was hurt.
Roll up on your knees.
Ain't no way.
500 block of Elizabeth.
Stand up.
No, 553 Elizabeth.
What are you doing?
Freaking sweet. Here.
Did I do something?
Come
To
on.
be determined,
In front of
sir.
my squad, man. Okay. Is there anything I need to stick me poke me hurt? No, not at all, sir. Okay.
Officer, can you tell us what you and any other officers were doing in that brief portion of the video?
Walking him to a squad car so he could be placed inside since he was not dressed for the weather.
What happened once you got to the squad car?
The officer whose squad he was going to be placed in went through his pockets to make sure he did not have anything that would be dangerous.
Okay. And do you know if anything was retrieved from his pockets?
Yes.
Objection.
Overruled. Her answer may stand.
There were no weapons, were there?
No
Objection,
weapons.
leading.
Overruled. Her answer may stand.
What, if anything, do you recall being recovered from his pocket?
ID, some cards, I believe there was a credit card in there, and a car key.
Should we please play from the 4:30 mark?
Everybody take a seat for me, Darrell. Bring it out. So what hurts?
We're having some skipping issues, so let's pause it there and go back to 4:50, please.
I'm sorry, what time frame?
4:50.
Go ahead.
Okay, we're at 4:48. We'll play from here. I don't need to see those last few seconds. We can get them to work, I'm sure, if Mr. Brooks would like to see them. Could we please show for the witness only exhibit number 176? Do you recognize the photograph on the screen in front of you?
I do.
What does it depict?
It is still.
Even when you're in a hurry, there's still time for personalized gifts. PersonalizationMall.com will help you find everything you need to make your holidays special.
It is still taken from my body cam footage. Those are my hands, and in my hands are the property that was taken from Mr. Brooks. You can see the officer's back at the open door of the squad, and Mr. Brooks' leg in the light there, where he's sitting in the squad.
Your Honor, I would move exhibit 176 into evidence and request permission to publish.
Objection, relevancy.
Exhibit 176 has received permission to publish as granted. The objection is overruled.
While we're waiting for the screens to activate for the jurors, I'll ask you, Officer Carpenter, do you know what happened to the objects that are in your hands in that exhibit?
Yes, I gave them to the officer whose car Mr. Brooks was sitting in.
You don't know the identity of that officer?
I don't. There were a lot of officers from a lot of different jurisdictions.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's all I have.
Wow, he didn't have much.
That's all you have? All right, thank you. Cross, please.
Now, you know he's going to have a lot to ask. Let's just wait and see. Mm-hmm. I don't know what he could possibly ask, though.
At one point you stated the suspect was wearing jogging pants. That'd be fair to say?
Yes, sir.
Were the jogging pants or blue jeans?
They were soft pants. They were not blue jeans.
Can we show exhibit 80 again?
Yes, we can. Go ahead. Thank you.
I love watching their expressions.
Fast forward it a little bit.
He's going to try
I'm not gonna be sure exactly where to pause it at. You fast forward just a little bit.
I think she got the pants a little bit off because I think he was wearing blue jeans, but his gotcha moment is so weak and lame, compared to all the other evidence they already have. The key in his pocket.
pause? Can you zoom in a little bit?
That's all he's got. She didn't identify the pants correctly. Big freaking whoop.
And play a few more seconds. Would that miss the zoom up? Would it still be zoomed in, or would it go back out?
It'll stay zoomed on that portion of the screen.
Okay.
See how he went to the ground, and he said they slammed him to the ground. Her getting the pants wrong is minimal.
We're at,
That's like 5, yeah. You would describe those pants as jogging pants or soft pants, as you say?
Yes.
What else you got? Such a waste of time.
And you stated that when you parked your car, where you parked your squad on Elizabeth and West, you hooked up with 2 other officers.
Yes.
And those officers had long guns.
Yes.
Can you explain what a long gun is?
Shoulder weapon, rifle, or shotgun.
Do you recall if it was a rifle or a shotgun?
I did not examine either weapon closely.
What does it matter?
Are you done with this exhibit, sir?
Yeah, for right now, yeah.
Yeah, he really doesn't have
You
anything.
made reference to finding a sandwich, credit cards, things of that nature in the pants, correct?
I found the sandwich while you were laying on the ground.
And you also stated that you found a credit card and things of that nature. In fact, would it be fair to say that that's what was in your hand on Exhibit 176?
Do you need the exhibit to answer, or do you recall?
There were, I don't, thank you. There were what appeared to be credit cards and ID and a car key.
And they were in your hand, correct?
They were.
So would it be fair to say you also found those and not just a sandwich?
I did not pull that stuff out of your pocket, sir. That was a different officer. I did hold it while he finished searching you, sir.
So
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, that threw me off.
He's trying to get them on stupid details.
So you obtained that the credit cards and all that from a different officer?
Yes.
Did you find anything else?
On your person, I was not the person searching you. Aside from the sandwich while you were on the ground.
So as far as your search, you just found a sandwich.
Correct.
And at the time, do you recall why the suspect was being detained?
Yes,
And what was the reason?
because you matched a description that was broadcast over the police radio of a suspect involved in the parade incident.
In this report, did you write it yourself or did another officer?
I wrote it.
Do you recall writing that the suspect was being detained for investigative purposes?
Yes,
Any reason why you wouldn't state what those purposes were in the report?
yes, because at the time we had contact with you, I was not fully aware of the circumstances.
Well, would it be fair to say that you just stated why the suspect was being detained?
That I just stated why this, I'm sorry, what was the question exactly?
Yeah,
So
really.
would it be fair to say that you just stated when asked why was the suspect being detained at that moment? You
At that moment,
Yeah,
yes.
at that moment that you detained the suspect. You stated because they matched the description of someone involved in the parade.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
But then you stated that you just stated that at the time you weren't fully aware.
I knew that people had been hurt. I knew that shots had been fired. I did not know how many people were hurt. I did not know by what mechanism people would be hurt. I did not know the magnitude of the injuries. I just knew that something violent had happened.
So it'd be fair to say you weren't in the known of a lot of information at that point.
That's true.
Grounds.
Overruled. Her answer may stand.
Would it be fair to say that you were being heard in Exhibit 80 stating that if everything was on the up and up, you would be on your way?
Yes, sir, that's correct. That was me.
So would it be fair to say that was an inaccurate statement if the suspect fit the description of something that happened in the parade?
Not at all.
Yeah, I don't know what he's getting at. He's just trying, he's digging for something.
And what do you mean by not at all?
Oh, gosh.
I mean, sometimes people look like someone who did something and turn out not to be that person. But that was not the case here.
Don't you wish it were, though, Darrell?
So as far as you knew at the time, it could have been mistaken identity.
It could have been, but it was not.
Well, at the time, it'd be fair to say at the time you didn't know.
At the time, I did not know.
Fair to say. And what's your point, Darrell?
Did you give the suspect any of that information?
Objection.
Grounds.
I'm not sure what information he's talking about.
Sustained is to the form of the question.
Yeah, what information is she supposed to give
Did you give
him?
the suspect any information on why they were being detained?
I said, actually, it wasn't me that said that. It was another officer that said that, and I can't tell you who it was because I don't know. While you were being put in the car, You were informed you were being detained for investigative purposes, which is an answer that's appropriate for the circumstances.
So would it be fair to say that that's not really all that informative?
I did not have a lot of information to give you, sir.
Oh man, you're just pulling
Keep saying
at
you.
straws. You. Sorry about that. It paused there for a minute. Let's see. Yeah, you is you, Darrell.
Earrings that don't require
Girl.
pure steers helped Adele lose 99 pounds without exercise. Adele has been on a weight loss journey since her debut, but
Would it be fair to say you initially responded to the 500 block of Elizabeth because of a report of, I guess you would call it a trespassing report?
I would more put it under the heading of suspicious behavior under the circumstances.
So is that why you were initially dispatched to that area for suspicious behavior?
Yes.
I like how she's straight to the point and unwavering when he questions her. Good witness.
And do you recall when you got the report of shots fired?
I believe that was one of the first things I heard over the radio before I was even there.
Do you recall ever finding out where the shots fired came from?
Eventually I did.
Do you recall in your reading report writing that when you had arrived at Elizabeth and West and parked your squad and began to walk down the street, that you had your firearm in your hand?
Yes.
And was that because of the call of shots fired, or did you feel unsafe at the time?
That's because there were shots fired and I did not know by whom.
Did you get a report of anyone hit by the shots?
At that time, no. I did not know one way or the other if anyone had been hurt. Had been hit. I knew people were hurt.
Do you recall the area of where the shots fired? Was that the general area?
The general area, somewhere in the vicinity of the parade.
And really, that has nothing to do with him saving himself, which of course he did not.
Is Elizabeth and West in the general area?
It's a few blocks away.
did state you didn't find any weapons on the suspect, right?
Correct.
You find any shell casings or?
No.
Do you have any reason to believe that the shots came from the suspect?
I did not know who had done shooting. I had heard a report of shots fired. I did not know by whom, as I've said, sir.
Any reason to believe that the shots came from the suspect is what I'm asking.
I did not know.
She already said she didn't know.
And you stated that upon seeing the suspect on the porch, that they were gesturing.
Gesturing? Yes, sir.
And you also stated that in your written report that it was in the upper 30s that evening with the brisk wind. Would that be fair to say?
It was
Pretty
upper
cold.
30s, lower 40s, somewhere right in there. It was cold. I was cold.
Do you think that maybe the gesturing was because the suspect was cold? Grounds.
Calls for speculation.
Mm-hmm. Speculation.
Overruled, she may answer.
Oh, really? Okay.
I didn't know.
Gesturing doesn't fit warming up, really. Gosh, you waste so much time. Do your homework, man. There's really nothing that he can ask that can help him. They got him on camera. Multiple witnesses.
Do you recall checking the general area around the house that you found the suspect?
Yes, sir.
Did you find anything around the house? I guess I'm referring to where you wrote in your report you checked the likely path of travel.
Yes, sir, I do recall that. No, we did not find anything.
And do you recall checking the pockets of the coat worn by the suspect?
Yes.
Do you recall how the suspect obtained the coat?
I recall what I was told.
So it'd be fair to say you weren't sure if you were only told this information. That'd be fair to say?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Yeah.
You made reference to saying you only know what you were told. So it'd be fair to say at that time you didn't know unless you were told.
Didn't know what?
How the suspect obtained the coat.
I asked the resident of the house you were at. Actually, I believe he volunteered to me that he had given you a coat to wear.
And you checked the pockets of the coat?
Yes.
And did you find anything?
I did not find anything.
You're probably going, Why is he wasting so much time? When will this be over? I've got a hangnail.
At what point did you learn that the suspect who was being detained would be arrested?
At some point later.
I can't imagine what this jury went through sitting through all of this. Can you all? All this time wasting, his whining, complaining, yelling, abusing the witnesses.
It was another officer's vehicle that the suspect was placed in, correct?
Correct.
And when did you leave that scene?
Not for hours.
Why so long?
Because when there is a crime scene that potentially spans blocks, everything needs to be searched for evidence. Witnesses need to be located because once things are gone, things are gone. So it has to all be done right the first time.
Come on, Darrell. You have nothing to gain from this except to give more ammo to the prosecution.
Did you write your report that evening?
I believe I wrote it the next morning.
So it would be fair to say after you had learned a little bit more information, then you wrote the report?
That would be true, yes.
And your point? Going through that report, trying to pick out something that he can trip her on.
In the video, Exhibit 80, the suspect gave you his name, right?
That's correct.
What will he gain from that question? Maybe I'll find out.
Was that right when you handcuffed him, if you recall?
Right around that time, yes, sir.
And did you talk to any other witnesses that evening besides the owner of the home that that you saw the suspect?
No.
What a waste of time. I still have to hand it to those people
In
who
the
had to
hours that you
sit
stayed
through all this.
on Elizabeth, did you talk to any other witnesses at all?
No, I looked through a few yards and mostly maintained a perimeter for a search.
Do you recall why you looked through a few yards?
Searching for evidence.
Duh.
Do you recall what evidence you may have been searching for at that time?
Anything that you would have left.
You know, a lot of times you don't know until you find it.
So do you recall what maybe you might have been looking for a weapon or anything like that?
Asked and answered.
That would have gotten my attention. Yes, absolutely.
Did you find any weapon?
No, sir.
I mean, you might as well finish. You're done. There isn't anything else you could ask her. I love how poised though and calm and she is. She really is a very good witness. Yeah, you're just stretching it out now. Come on. What do you got there, Darrell?
Did you learn any knowledge of any ring video footage that evening?
I don't recall if I viewed the footage that evening or the following day. I did at some point view that ring footage, yes.
So you were aware that night that it was ring footage?
I believe I was aware of it that night. I don't believe I watched it, but I can't say with certainty.
And do you recall initially responding to Clinton Street and Broadway first?
Yes, sir.
Do you recall why you responded to that location first?
See if I could help anyone.
About how long did you stay there before responding to Elizabeth?
Just a few minutes.
Yeah, he's taking a lot of time. Just, leisurely reading through the report while the jury waits.
No further questions.
Exactly.
Are you doing redirect?
Referring specifically to to the time that you placed the handcuffs on Mr. Brooks. Do you remember that time frame?
Yes, sir.
I don't consent to being called that.
Yeah, we don't care.
Overruled. You may answer.
Thank you. Yes, I do.
Do you recall how Mr. Brooks ended up on the ground as that was happening?
I do.
Could you tell us about that?
Objection. Saw in video.
Overruled. The
Oh,
witness may answer.
sheesh.
We instructed him to put his hands up and then to get down on the ground.
Did he comply with those instructions?
He did.
Did you or any other officer have to put hands on Mr. Brooks to get him on the ground?
Objection. Speculative.
Overruled. The witness may answer.
No, sir, we did not.
After he was on the ground, that's when the handcuffs went on?
Objection
correct.
leading.
Overruled. She may answer.
Your answer again was,
That's correct.
at any point after the handcuffs went on, did you or any other officer throw Mr. Brooks to the ground?
Objection leading.
Overruled. The witness may answer.
We did not.
How did you treat Mr. Brooks as you moved him from his prone position on the ground to the squad car?
Objection.
Overruled. She may answer.
Oh, it's relevant.
As the video shows, he was instructed, let's call it the path of least resistance, to get up off of prone position, eventually to his feet, with a minimum of discomfort.
Did you successfully achieve that objective?
Objection speculative.
I'll rephrase.
Are you able to answer?
Yes,
Go ahead.
in as best as one can stand a person up when they have their hands handcuffed behind their back. Yes.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you. You may step down.
Yeah, see, that's the whole thing about this video, is that then when he goes in, after he's brought in and questioned by Detective Carpenter, the other Carpenter, the male Carpenter, you know, he's about the shoulder, which is so hilarious. He's so dramatic about it. But you can see in the video that he didn't want to get hurt, even though he'd hurt all those people, but he was very cooperative, and he was already on the ground. So there was no slamming on the ground or no injured shoulder. I mean, it's all obvious. I mean, can you imagine the jury? They're probably thinking, oh my gosh. But yeah, there's that. Another thread of lies from Darrell Brooks. But we'll keep going on through this. We'll follow the path to the investigation and soon the interview or interrogation of Darrell by Detective Carpenter. But I thought Rebecca Carpenter was awesome. I thought she was very to the point and just, very stress-free, calm, and he dug and dug and dug, wasted a lot of time. But there was nothing he could get her with. Which is why he's in prison for 1,000 years. Okay, thank you all so much for watching, commenting, subscribing. I really do appreciate it. There should be some more things coming up. I love you so much. I really do. Be kind to others. Be kind to yourself, and I will see you the next time.